Morning, I'm GoodEgor and you may know me for super cutting Northern Lions subscriber streams, making 3 cool NLSS intros, and the topic of today, counting every single Quiplash meme. Now, most of you probably saw this, and this was the way I did it previously. Now, it is pretty tiresome to search through this huge file each time some kind of small reference pops up. So it is finally time for me to make an Excel document. What is here? Well, I rewatched everything that I've done so far and put it here, starting from the very first episode. So here's the introduced column, and whenever it is brought up, I uh, set this value to the episode I'm currently working on. That way it is easier for me to find them. Of course, here's the actual counter. The subtypes, I will get to them a bit later. The total number of mentions, which is basically what counters are right now, right here. And there are also wins and losses counters, which I didn't do previously. But while rewatching, I just made them because that's a cool thing to do, right? There is also the originator column for some of the important memes. Notes include things like the number of draws, explanation for some of them, because, well, some of the meta counters are not self-describing. The status for the metas, again, some of them are currently active, some of them I stopped counting, and some of them are sleeping, which basically means they haven't been brought up in a long time. And there's also the win rate, which is the product of adding those two numbers together and dividing this number by the total of those two. So now we can actually see which memes are the most successful. Let's sort by the type, because that's a thing I should explain. The types are big. You can see why those are in this category. Those are the most popular, the most important memes of the NLSS Quiplash games, starting with the very first Quiplash original and going up to Dan Giesling. The bulk category is for memes that are various, but they are all uh, they all have to do with the same thing. Those can be games, movies, and there is also this one. This one is basically for YouTube and Twitch references and other show-related things. But those are not memes in and of themselves, because NLSS is probably the biggest category here. It comes later. Lashes are, of course, the funny things that people say in response to prompts. You can see all of those. Then there are meta counters. They all have descriptions, so I'm not gonna explain every single one of them. Meta counters are basically how memes are constructed, how to win Quiplash, and everything to do with that. Also, some uh, game events like Double Down when you type the same answer for both prompts, or jinxes. Where's the jinx? Here's the jinx. So those are game events. Next is the minor category, which includes small references that are mostly used in conversation rather than as Quiplash answers. This is a questionable category because a lot of minor things I just do not catch because I'm not exposed to Western media, and most of the movie references I don't get, and some of the TV shows I don't know who a lot of people Ryan brings up are. So those can only be described as minor for me. Of course, there are some things that can be placed in different categories, like Michael Caine is basically an NLSS meme. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let those be. They're not bothering anyone here. They got their own category. Then there is the big NLSS category, which was counted here as non-Quiplash NLSS memes. Where's the black thingy? If I can't find it quickly, I'm gonna abandon that idea. Is that it? Well, whatever. So basically, whenever I incremented that counter, I also wrote down why I did that on a piece of paper. Now I took that piece of paper and laid out every single one separate meme into their own lines. Some of them are repeated more often than others, like Dragon Slayer Doppelganger is a big NLSS meme, and others are just pretty minor, like how many questions? It's an old and very specific NLSS meme, but it is a meme, so it has to be here. Referential is another category that I'm not sure about. The show is largely based on references to various media properties, and some of those can be considered memes, but not really. So they are here, they are also in the minor category, and the line is blurry. Now, themes are things that are brought up as Quiplash answers and are mostly important as conversation engines. They may not be very funny as answers to prompts, but they are repeated in some way through conversation, and maybe they are just brought back once or something. And most of the time, they are not brought back in future episodes. Like the Wise with Knives thing. It was a big thing during one NLSS, and then it was gone the next day. Those are the things that are classified as themes. They are themes for one particular episode most of the time. And that's basically it for categorization. Now, let's see something interesting. The win rates. There we go. The win rates. Which meme has the best win rate? There are many memes that were brought up once or twice and won both times. But how about ones that were tried out multiple times? There. Sunny D has a 100% win rate with 5 mentions. Adam Savage's Butthole with 4 mentions. And then we go into much more popular ones. Daddy, which is a surprise, a big surprise. Dad jokes and daddy mentions won 9 times out of 10, which is hilarious to me. Self roasting almost always works. That's understandable. A rhyming mess is the pog log grog bog thing from that one Josh segment. I think one loss was during the final lash or something. Captain Obvious is a meta for when Jackbox expects an answer. It basically says that be obvious and you do win most of the time, which is strange. Overwatch memes were hot during that May 9th, I think that was that show. That boy has a good win rate, and then there's a bunch of 2-in-1s. Dan Giesling sits above 50%, which is great for the number of times he was brought up. That's a very good result. Alliteration, again, works very often. And there we go down the list. Interestingly enough, chat quite often rebels against the big memes, like Truck Cock, Borat, and Cucked. probably most notably. Well, there we go. That's probably everything I wanted to tell you about. Yeah, probably. After I'm done with this little explanation video, I'm just gonna go ahead and start working on another Quiplash episode. I'm also gonna leave this Excel file in the description so you can browse it for yourself. Maybe if I figure it out, I can put it on the Google Docs. I've never used them before, so that may be a bit difficult, but I'm gonna try. I appreciate your attention. Good night.